Good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you are in this fine country, and welcome to Amtrak Vacations presentation today on traveling to the national parks by rail. Very, very exciting subject. Some of our top destinations that we have to go over with all of you. Beyond pumped to be here to help present all this information for you all. So allow me to introduce myself. My name is Nick Bennell, and I have proudly been with Amtrak Vacations now for, wow, just about 5 years now. It's very exciting. I myself am a huge fan of rail travel. I've traveled quite extensively throughout Europe, throughout the United States, and Canada by train, and I can tell you it's something I'm very passionate about, and I'm very excited to share all of this information with all of you today. Definitely stay tuned towards the end of the presentation, as we'll have some exclusive discounts for you all, as well as one lucky person will win a $100 Amtrak Vacations gift card. Very, very exciting. And before we hop into everything, just don't forget to download the handouts that are located on the side. As well as if anyone has any questions throughout the presentation, please feel free to input those into the questions box, and I will be more than happy to answer any questions that you all may have towards the end of the presentation today. So you might ask yourself, why Amtrak Vacations? Well, there is several reasons why. First off, traveling by train is a bucket list experience. In fact, we surveyed all of our travelers last year as to why they chose traveling by train and by Amtrak, and the number one consensus answer we kept seeing was that it was a bucket list trip. If you think about it, people have done the ocean cruises. People have done the all-inclusives to Mexico and the Caribbean and Hawaii. People have done those Walt Disney World trips. They've now done the river cruises, and now you're looking for something new, something exciting, something fun. And the train can definitely satisfy all of those. There's room to roam. It's nothing like being stuck on an airplane where you're stuck in the seat for hours upon hours. You can't really get up and move around. It's just unenjoyable being stuck up on a plane. While traveling by train, you're actually freely encouraged to get up and move amongst the train. Go visit the cafe car, visit the dining car, and visit my personal favorite, the observation car, which we'll touch base on just a little bit later. There's less hassle. There's none of this business about showing up 2 to 3 hours ahead of schedule to the station, or checking in 24 hours ahead of time, or having to pay for your checked luggage ahead of schedule. How does 45 minutes to an hour sound? That's the average time that people generally will show up to the Amtrak station before their journey. There's no reason for you to feel rushed before your train trip. The city-to-city service. Now, this I absolutely love because there's one thing I hate of those long airport transfers. You know, you fly into a place, then all of a sudden you get hit with this long transfer that, takes you about an hour to get to where you even want to be. Well, once again, traveling by train, we can get you to where you want to be as right off the bat. Typically, the stations are in downtowns. Take, for instance, New York Penn Station. Look at it. It's right in Midtown Manhattan. Look at LA Union Station, it's right in the heart of downtown Los Angeles. Chicago Union Station, it's right in the heart of the Loop area of downtown Chicago. We get you to where you want to be so you can start your sightseeing as soon as you get into town. The city-to-city service, which we just went over, and then there's also satisfy your hunger. Now, this we'll touch base on once again a tad bit later. I just want you all to know that whenever you do upgrade to the sleeping accommodations on board the train, meals are automatically included, and you won't want to miss out on this. The meals on the train and the dining on the train is fantastic, and you're all going to absolutely love it. And lastly, flexibility. Unlike those escorted tours where they only have select departure dates and trips only operate on certain days, almost every single one of our trips operates on a daily basis. With the exception of a couple of our seasonal national parks, almost every single one of our trip operates on a daily basis, so you can travel when you want to travel. And I always like starting off, too, by showing this map because it really amazes me at how extensive Amtrak's system really is. In fact, Amtrak services 46 out of the 48 continental states here in the U.S., with the exceptions of South Dakota and Wyoming. And last year, in 2016, Amtrak set their ridership record with over 32.5 million riders, which, if Amtrak was an airline last year, they would have been the 6th most flown airline in the world, which is very impressive. And this year, it's actually anticipated to be even higher. So keep that in mind. This rail travel is definitely in demand. And one of the best parts is you can actually choose between any of the 500 Amtrak stations to start or end your trip at. Or if you wanted to, you can opt to fly to your start destination or fly home from your end destination. It's completely up to you. Now, I got a couple fun little slides I love to share with all of you that really highlight some of the benefits of traveling by Amtrak and by train. And this is honestly my favorite one. Just what do you see on the left for a second? Well, you see clouds. That's what you see from a plane. Pretty boring, right? If you think about it, clouds look the same no matter where you go in the world. But if you look at the right-hand side, you see pristine beaches and coastlines, you see big cities, you see mountains. These are just some of the examples of that beautiful landscape that you can see from the comfort of an Amtrak train. See, we're really lucky here if you think about it in the United States. We have every type of landscape imaginable, really. We have those beaches and coastlines. We have the big cities. We have mountains. We have deserts. We have rainforests. We have prairies. We have small town America. And it's right in our back door of the United States. And the best way to see it all is from the comfort of an Amtrak train. Another one of my favorite elements is there's no pesky middle seat on board the train. This happened to me last week. I was flying out of town, and I got the middle seat. I was wedged between two strangers, couldn't get comfortable. I was on a flight for about 5 hours, and I just couldn't enjoy it. Started my trip off on a sour note. Well, there's no reason for you to be in that predicament. We work in rows of two, so you can truly maximize how comfortable you are on board the train. There's no reason for you to be sandwiched between two strangers. And lastly, there's no need to spend your days sitting in traffic. In fact, we have a saying we like to use around here. Why not take the road less traveled? That road being Amtrak. All you have to do is kick back, relax, and let us do the driving for you. You're absolutely going to love traveling by train. And folks, I want to make it known at this very beginning of the presentation about our flash sale that we have going on. It started today, and it's already off to a very, 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 very high demand already. Our flash sale is good to starts today, and it's good till next Friday. Essentially, if you are looking into any 2018 vacation package, you can upgrade from coach seating to roomette accommodations for just $99 per person. Think about it. You get a private room with beds. All your meals on the train will be included. You'll get shower access on board the train. You have priority boarding, and you also have access to the train station private lounges at the available stations that have them. We did run this a couple months ago, and it's backed by popular demand, and this is the last chance to take full advantage of this wonderful promotion. So once again, $99 per person, coach to roomettes for any 2018 package. So keep that in mind, my friends. You definitely want to take full advantage of that. And we offer so many different types of vacation packages that can really cater towards any type of traveler. First, we have our independent rail journeys, which are some of our most popular packages. These are quite extensive, so if you are looking for a bit of a longer trip, these are the trips for you. These are trips that range from a week to even up to 16 days. They're incredibly comprehensive as they cover quite a bit of ground. They're multi-city, multi-state trips. We have our family adventures, which I always recommend if you have people if you have anyone traveling with a large family trip or a multi-generational trip, as there's something for everyone on these. From grandparents to grandchildren, they're completely family friendly. We have our rail and sails, which combine the wonders of an Amtrak journey, but also with an Alaskan cruise out of Seattle. So you get two completely different travel styles, all rolled up into one amazing package. Then we have our rail getaways. These are our single city 2 to 3 night long trips. If you're looking just to get away for a couple of nights, maybe you have a long weekend or something, these are the packages for you. And especially we have so many great options with them throughout the United States and Canada that would definitely have a perfect one for you. And lastly, our national parks, what brought us here today. We're going to go over some of our top national park packages. They are some of our most popular destinations, places like the Grand Canyon, Glacier Park, Yellowstone. We have so many different options for the national parks, and we work directly with those hard-to-get lodges, and we have some really great options for the national parks. So let's hop right into it, shall we? And the first one we're going to cover is our most popular seasonal national park, which is Glacier National Park. Now, the reason why I say it's seasonal is because our season from Glacier Park is very limited. It's only from mid-June to mid-September. Because it is in northern Montana, so as you can imagine, yes, it does snow about 9 months of the year up there. So our availability does get rather limited, but we do have the space in Glacier National Park. Now, one of my favorite elements about Glacier National Park is the train station. The train station is located only 209 steps away from the Glacier Park Lodge, which is the main hotel that we work with. So as soon as you step out of the train station, the lodge is literally steps away. It's right there. But however, say if you are tired or maybe you have a bit of luggage, you don't want to walk, not to worry. They run like a little tram that'll bring you from front door to front door. Now, as I mentioned about the Glacier Park Lodge, here it is. Glacier Park Lodge is an amazing, amazing lodge. I absolutely love it. It's located just right outside the park entrance, and it's very historic, very beautiful lodge. In fact, for my Walt Disney World fans, if you've ever been down to Disney World and you've ever seen the Wilderness Lodge, one of the Magic Kingdom resorts, the Wilderness Lodge is actually based off of the Glacier Park Lodge, which is really impressive. That Disney even got inspired from such lodges like the Glacier Park Lodge. In fact, I got some pictures of the inside. Let's take a look at that. It's such a beautiful hotel, and the lobby is one of my favorite areas, as it can be seen right on the right-hand side. In fact, they have a really, really great restaurant inside the Glacier Park Lodge. It's actually included. Generally include one dinner at the Glacier Park Lodge in our packages. So keep that in mind. It's really wonderful. And there's so much to see and do up in Glacier National Park. Let's focus our attention to the top left for a second. You see that red vehicle? That is one of the famous red jammer buses. And that is what the Big Sky Circle Tour is done in. Now, the Big Sky Circle Tour is the main tour of the park. It's a full-day tour that utilizes the Going to the Sun Road, which is the main highway that runs right through the middle of Glacier National Park. This sightseeing tour is included generally in most of our Glacier Park packages. So keep that in mind. It's a really great option, and it's a really wonderful tour. And it's definitely the most comprehensive tour that's offered in Glacier National Park. Now, if we focus our attention to the right-hand side, you see that boat? That is the second tour that comes standard in almost all of our Glacier Park packages. It's the Two Medicine Valley Boat Cruise, which is a boat ride in Two Medicine Lake, which is situated in the Two Medicine Valley. It's one of the most peaceful areas of the park. It's absolutely beautiful, very tranquil, very relaxing, and it's actually one of the only areas that's not covered on that first tour. So you get to see a separate area of the park that's not covered on the first tour, which is really wonderful. Now, our most popular package for Glacier National Park is our Getaway, which is a 4-day, 3-night. It does 3 nights at the Glacier Park Lodge, and you get the 2 tours listed, the Big Sky Circle Tour and the Two Medicine Valley Boat Cruise. Along with that as well, you get 1 dinner at the Glacier Park Lodge that you can use whenever you want during your stay at the Glacier Park Lodge. But maybe you want to do something a bit longer. Well, we got our most popular Glacier Park Independent Rail Journey, which is our Glacier National Park Express. This has been one of our top trips for, I'd say, probably the past 5 years, as it's very, very nice, and it includes one of the most scenic train journeys on Amtrak, which is the Empire Builder. So this trip starts off doing 2 nights in Chicago, right in the heart of downtown Chicago in the Loop area. While we're there, we'll get a sightseeing architecture cruise of Chicago that will take us down the Chicago River, and it will highlight some of the famous skyscrapers, buildings, and structures that Chicago is known for. In fact, Chicago is the birthplace of the modern skyscraper, and this tour highlights it. And it's a neat little boat ride down the middle of the Chicago River. Now, once our stay in Chicago is all done, we'll board the Empire Builder, and we'll head north through Wisconsin, up through the Lakes region of Minnesota, cutting across through the prairies of North Dakota, doing an overnight train, leading us into Montana, and that will lead us through the mountains into Glacier National Park. And while we're in Glacier Park, we're going to do 3 nights at the Glacier Park Lodge. And at the Glacier Park Lodge, we are going to have those 2 tours, the Big Sky Circle Tour, as well as the Two Medicine Valley Boat Cruise. And we'll also get the dinner as well at the Glacier Park Lodge as well. Now, from Glacier Park, once our fun in Glacier Park is all said and done, we will then hop aboard the Empire Builder for one more really quick overnight. And we'll go from Glacier National Park. We'll keep heading west. I'll go through a little bit of Idaho, leading us in through Washington State, where we cross the Columbia River, and that will lead us into the Emerald City the next morning. That's right, we're going to do 2 nights in Seattle. And while we're in Seattle, we're going to have a couple different things included. We're going to have admission to the Space Needle, as seen right on your screen, included, which is the most iconic landmark in the city of Seattle, as well as admission to the Chihuly Garden and Glass Museum. Now, for those that aren't familiar with Chihuly, Dale Chihuly is this really great artist that makes these beautiful glass sculptures that look like flowers. And this is actually his headquarters museum, and it's situated right at the foot of the Space Needle. So you can literally walk from front door to front door of the attractions with perfect ease. And along with all of this as well, we get a multi-day hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour, which is one of those tour buses that will take you around the city on a big loop, and you can get off and on as you please at all the different sites and attractions that Seattle has to offer. It'll take you over by the Space Needle. It will take you over by the famous Pike's Place Market, where you may be able to see them throw the fish. It will even take you over to the original Starbucks, which for my coffee lovers, this is the Mecca in the pilgrimage you need to take. I did it last year. It was such a wonderful feeling going to the original Starbucks. I loved it. So just to highlight this package, it's a 10-day, 9-night. We get the Architecture Cruise of Chicago. In Glacier Park, we get the 2 tours, the Big Sky Circle Tour and the 2 Medicine Valley Boat Cruise. In Seattle, we'll get admission to the Space Needle and the Chihuly Garden and Glass Museum. And lastly, we will get a multi-day hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour of the city of Seattle. All in all, it's 7 nights hotel, 2 nights on board the train. And yes, folks, those 2 nights on the train are in coach seating. However, we can absolutely upgrade to the sleeping accommodations. We will get a private room with beds, shower access, and meals on the train will be included. And keep in mind, too, this trip is absolutely eligible for the flash sale. Just remember, $99, any 2018 package, $99 per person, coach seating, 2 roomettes, which is an amazing, amazing deal. But maybe you're looking for something even more, a little longer. Well, say no more, folks. Oh, there we go. Say no more. We got our Grand National Parks. Now, these trips, we have 3 versions of our Grand National Parks, and we introduced these in 2017, and they have been so popular. In fact, we just love them, and they actually came from suggestions from travelers like yourselves. So thank you so much. We really appreciate that. Now, these trips are very popular as they cover quite a bit of ground. They're a little bit of a longer trip, and they visit quite a few of the different national parks. And as you can see, you're going to see a trend throughout this presentation that these packages a lot of them do start and end in Chicago. Now, the reason for that is simply because Chicago is Amtrak's hub station. So if you don't live out in the Chicago area, that's not a problem. We can absolutely help set up getting you to Chicago from your hometown. Alternatively, you could always fly to Chicago as well. A lot of people will do that, so keep that in mind if you did want to do that. So this trip, for example, starts off doing an overnight train on the Southwest Chief from Chicago to Williams, Arizona, where we arrive the following evening. In Williams, we'll do 1 night at the famous Grand Canyon Railway Hotel, which we'll touch base on a little bit later. The next day, we'll hop aboard the Grand Canyon Railway, which is the antique steam train that will bring you from Williams up to the South Rim. When we get up to the South Rim, we will have a motor coach freedom tour of the South Rim, which is a guided motor coach tour that will show you around to some of the key vantage points and observation points of the South Rim. Once our tour is done, we'll then do 1 night up in one of the lodges in the Grand Canyon Village up at the South Rim. And then once our stay there is all done, we will then take the Grand Canyon Railway back down to Williams, where we'll catch an evening train, an overnight train, continuing westbound on the Southwest Chief, where we arrive into Los Angeles. When we arrive into Los Angeles the next morning, we're going to change trains over to the Coast Starlight, which is the most scenic Amtrak train out there. In fact, it was voted the most scenic train in North America the past 2 years. And we're going to take that on a day travel up to San Francisco, the city by the bay. And when we're up at San Francisco, we're going to do 2 nights in a downtown San Francisco hotel. And while we're in San Francisco, we're going to have a hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour into San Francisco that'll take you around the city on a big loop, and you can get off and on as you please at all the different sites and attractions that San Francisco has to offer. But not only that, while we're in San Francisco, the real highlight of it is we're going to do a full-day tour out to Yosemite National Park, one of my favorite national parks. And this tour is fantastic because you don't have to worry about getting yourself out to the park. They actually pick you up, drive you out to the park, and you actually do a full-day guided tour of the whole Yosemite Valley. So it's really beautiful. You'll get to see a lot of the main sites that Yosemite has to offer, such as Yosemite Falls and Tunnel View, as well as the Oahe Lodge as well, which is really excellent. Once our fun in San Francisco and in Yosemite is all said and done, we will then continue northbound one more time on the Coast Starlight on an overnight train heading up to Seattle. When we arrive into Seattle, we are going to do 1 night in a downtown Seattle hotel. And while we're in Seattle, once again, we will get tickets to the Space Needle because honestly, a trip to Seattle without going to their iconic landmark, you have to do it. It's a must. Once our fun in Seattle's all done, we'll then head eastbound overnight on the Empire Builder, where we arrive the next morning into Glacier National Park, where we do the 3 nights at the Glacier Park Lodge. And while we're there, we're going to have that Big Sky Circle tour, the full-day tour of the park, as well as that 2 Medicine Valley boat cruise. And then from Glacier Park, once our 3 nights are all said and done, we'll then do an overnight train heading eastbound on the Empire Builder back to Chicago. So just to highlight this, folks, it's a 14-day, 13-night. We get the the tour of the Grand. We get the round trip on the Grand Canyon Railway. We get the guided rim tour of the South Rim. We get the hop on hop off tour of San Francisco, as well as a sightseeing tour of Yosemite National Park. In Seattle, we'll get admission to the Space Needle, and in Glacier Park, we'll get the Big Sky Circle tour and the 2 Medicine Valley boat cruise. All in all, 8 nights hotel, 5 nights on board the train, and yes, I'll say it again, those 5 nights on the train are in coach seating. We can absolutely upgrade to the sleepers. We'll get a private room with beds, shower access, and meals on the train will be included in. I'm going to mention it again. Yes, this is fully eligible for the flash sale. $99 per person, coach to roommates. It's for any 2018 package, and this deal is good until next Friday, so definitely want to take full advantage of that. Well, let's continue on to some more national parks. We're going to go over our most popular year-round national park, that being the Grand Canyon. Now, the Grand Canyon, there's a reason why it's considered one of the 7 natural wonders of the world. It is absolutely beautiful, and I feel as though it's one of those spaces in the United States. If you're from the U.S., you got to visit at least once. At least once. And it was actually the most visited national park last year with over 7 million visitors. And the Grand Canyon's excellent, and there's so much to see and do up there. It's really stunning, it's really breathtaking, and they have so many options of things to do while you're up there. And we offer some really great accommodations in the Grand Canyon. Let's focus our attention first off to the bottom. You see the Grand Canyon Railway. That is the Grand Canyon Railway Hotel, which is located in Williams, Arizona. It's a completely train-themed hotel, and it is the point of origin for the Grand Canyon Railway, which is that antique steam train, which we're going to go over in just a moment. I will mention that the Grand Canyon Railway just about last year underwent a lot of updates and modernization, so it's looking even better now. It's a very beautiful hotel. Now, if we focus our attention to the top, you see the Alto Bar. Now, the Alto Bar is one of the most majestic lodges in any of our national parks. It was built in 1903, and it's actually situated right on the edge of the South Rim. One really neat thing I will mention about the Alto Bar is they have an amazing, amazing, amazing restaurant up there, and it's like a gourmet dining experience that's located in one of our national parks. So not only are you going to have an amazing cuisine, but you also you're going to have some breathtaking views of the South Rim as well while you're up there. So keep all of that in mind. Now, I've been mentioning the Grand Canyon Railway. Well, what exactly is the Grand Canyon Railway? Well, the Grand Canyon Railway is the antique steam train that takes you from Williams, Arizona, up to the South Rim of the Grand Canyon. And the train is almost 100 years old at this point, and it's amazing because you get another train experience to a train vacation. So if you think about it, not only are you getting the Amtrak experience and the train trip on Amtrak, but you're also getting that classic antique steam train experience as well, which is really wonderful. And the neat thing is, too, is you're actually going through the largest ponderosa forest that Arizona has to offer. So you're getting some really amazing scenery on the journey as well from Williams up to the South Rim. And a really cool thing is what they do a lot of entertainment on board with the Grand Canyon Railway. So prior to the train departing from Williams, they actually hold a Wild West shootout. And then while you're on board, there could be live music, as you can see on the top left, where they'll play some old-timey folk songs, as well as they do a mock train robbery on every train ride. Now, no need to get scared. It's all for fun. And they actually do collect money on it, but the money that they do collect goes to charity, which is really excellent, and it just enhances and adds to that whole Wild West experience, which is really nice. So let's go over one of our most popular Grand Canyon packages, which is our Grand Canyon Getaway round trip from Chicago. Now, the reason why we have this set up from Chicago, and this trip can honestly be taken from anywhere. Chicago, as I mentioned, is the most popular point of origin because it is the Amtrak's hub station, but needless to say, this trip can be picked up from anywhere. So this trip starts off leaving out of Chicago. We do a round trip with overnight trains on board the Southwest Chief on an overnight in each direction. We'll do round trip on board the Grand Canyon Railway from Williams up to the South Rim, and we also get the guided motor coach tour of the South Rim as well. So just to highlight this, it's a 6-day, 5-night. We do 2 nights at the Grand Canyon Railway Hotel in Williams. We do 1 night in one of the lodges up at the South Rim. And we also get the guided Grand Canyon South Rim tour, as well as we also get round trip on board the Grand Canyon Railway. And it's a It's a 2 nights on board the train, and yes, those 2 nights on the train can absolutely be upgraded to the rooms on board the train, and once again eligible for the flash sale. $99 per person, coach to roomettes, any 2018 package. It's really exciting, so keep that in mind. What about our most popular package coming from the West Coast for the Grand Canyon? Well, that is our Rails to the Grand Canyon, which includes round-trip rail from Los Angeles to Williams on an overnight train in each direction. We do 2 night. It includes round-trip on board the Grand Canyon Railway, and it also includes that guided motor coach rim tour of the South Rim, and it does 2 nights up in one of the lodges up at the Grand Canyon. So just to highlight this, it's a 5-day, 4-night. We get the round trip on the Grand Canyon Railway. We get the motor coach rim tour of the South Rim. We get 2 nights hotel and 2 nights on board the train. And even this one, yes, this one is fully eligible for the flash sale. Once again, $99 per person, coach to roomettes, any 2018 package. Really amazing deal. It's good until next Friday. And keep in mind, too, any of these trips can be customized. Perhaps maybe you want to add an extra night to your stay up at the South Rim. Maybe you want to add another destination. Maybe you want to build a package from the ground up. We can help you make that become a reality. So keep that in mind, folks. It's really, really excellent that we have the ability to fully customize any of our packages for you. As we continue, we're going to go over another one of our top seasonal national parks, that being Yellowstone. Yellowstone is absolutely beautiful. And you might remember, though, Nick, how do we get to Yellowstone? You said the train doesn't go to Wyoming. Correct. You actually go by means of Salt Lake City, and we have some amazing packages set up to go up to Yellowstone. So this trip, we have quite a few, and there's so much to see and do up in Yellowstone. In fact, one of my colleagues just was in Yellowstone about a week and a half ago, and they were amazed at the amount of wildlife they saw. They saw elk. They saw buffalo, as you can see right on your screen. They saw wolves. They saw bears. They saw it all. And actually, one thing I will point out is that Yellowstone is home to some of the most American, is the home to the most American bison in the United States. So you're almost all but guaranteed to see a bison during your stay up in Yellowstone. They're everywhere. And let's go over one of our most popular packages for Yellowstone. That's being the Peaks of the Pacific. I love this one because it's another one that really utilizes 3 national parks. And it's a little bit shorter than the other one, so if you're looking to still see as many national parks as possible, this is a really great package because you'll still be able to see 3. And this trip starts off doing 2 nights in Denver. Yes, we're going to do 2 nights in the Mile High City, right where we want to be, centrally located. And while we're in Denver, we're going to have a sightseeing tour of Rocky Mountain National Park, which is an amazing sightseeing tour. That's what people flock to Colorado and flock to Denver to go see. Once our stay in Denver's all done, we're then going to hop aboard the California Zephyr for just some day travel, and we're going to take that over to Salt Lake City. And when we get into Salt Lake City, we're going to do 2 nights in a hotel in Salt Lake City. And we're going to have a guided narrated tour of Salt Lake City. It will take us around some of the famous sites that Salt Lake City is known for. From Salt Lake City, we're going to then hop aboard the Salt Lake Express, which is the motor coach transfer that will bring us from Salt Lake City up to West Yellowstone. And we're going to do 2 nights in one of the lodges in West Yellowstone. And while we're there, we're going to have the Yellowstone National Park Lower Loop Tour, which is a full-day tour that goes all throughout the park, and you actually get to see the Old Faithful geyser erupt. It's quite the sight to be seen. It's actually the most popular thing to see in Yellowstone National Park, and you'll be able to see that from this tour. Really fantastic. Once our 2 nights in Yellowstone are all done, we'll then take the Salt Lake Express back down to Salt Lake City, where we'll catch an evening train, an overnight train, where we will then do an overnight train over to San Francisco. And we're going to arrive into San Francisco and then do 2 nights, once again, in a downtown San Francisco hotel. And while we're in San Francisco, we will get that day tour, once again, of Yosemite National Park, the same as before, that'll take you out to the park, and you don't have to worry about driving yourself. It's a motor coach tour that'll give you the full day experience of Yosemite National Park. How excellent is that? So just to highlight this one, folks, it's a 10-day, 9-night. We get the guided tour of Rocky Mountain National Park. We get a narrated tour of Salt Lake City. We get the round-trip shuttle transfers from Salt Lake City up to West Yellowstone, as well as the bus tour of Yellowstone National Park's Lower Loop. And lastly, we get the day tour of Yosemite National Park right out of San Francisco. All in all, it's 8 nights hotel and 1 night on board the train, and even this one is eligible for the flash sale, you can upgrade from coach to roommate accommodations on board the train. You'll get a private room with beds, shower access, meals on the train will included, and it's literally $99 per person to do that for any 2018 package. And keep in mind, too, one of the best parts about all of this is downtown to downtown. You don't have to worry about these long transfers. You get to the heart of where all the action is right off the bat. You don't have to worry about transferring. You don't have to worry about any of it. We can get you to where you want to be as quickly as possible. And keep in mind, too, aside from the national parks, we have some really amazing single city destinations as well. Niagara Falls, Ontario, it's always a very popular spot up in Canada. We have some really amazing packages for that. San Francisco, if you wanted to go check out the city by the bay and not do the Yosemite experience, we have some really amazing packages for San Francisco, perhaps maybe even doing a Napa Valley or Sonoma tour. New York City, the city that never sleeps. We have some amazing packages for New York, and we actually also do Broadway shows in New York as well. So say if you want to go catch a play, we work with all of the top Broadway shows in New York City. And lastly, our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., one of my favorite spots. I think I've been to Washington about 11, 12 times so far, and I always find something amazing and something fun to do. It's just fun to go to the Smithsonian's and see all the monuments and memorials and just see all the landmarks that Washington is famous for. And I'm going to mention as well about the onboard policy with luggage with Amtrak, because I get this question a lot about, hey, what's the luggage policy with Amtrak? Well, picture what you know about the airlines, picture the complete opposite, really, because the luggage policy on Amtrak is amazing. Amtrak actually allows each person to bring on 2 pieces of carry-on luggage up to 50 pounds each bag, as well as 2 pieces of check-in luggage up to 50 pounds each bag, as well as, get this, a personal item. So figure along the lines of a backpack, briefcase, pocketbook or purse, laptop bag, small duffel bag. You're allowed to bring that all on board the train, and that is per person, folks. It's really quite a deal. And to book any of the trips that we went over today, all you have to do is give us a call at 1-800-268-7252. One of our amazing reservationists will be more than happy to help assist you with setting up your package. You can book through our website at amtrakvacations.com, or what I always recommend and what I would always do, pay a visit or give a call to your local travel agent. I love my travel agent. I go through my travel agent for my own personal travels. It's the way to go. They have years of expertise, and they will be more than happy to help you plan your dream rail vacation. Travel agents are one of the best resources out there, and I will always stand by going through an agent. They're fantastic. And I know I've been mentioning throughout the presentation accommodations and with the flash sale and upgrading, but what exactly does this all mean? Well, let's hop right into that, shall we? And as you know, this is a coach seat. Now, the coach seats are, as you can see, a pretty standard seat on board the train, but take what you know about airplane seats and kind of picture the complete opposite, because the coach seating on Amtrak is fantastic. In fact, you would be amazed at how comfortable the coach seats are. First off, they're typically double the size of your standard airplane seat. They recline at a 45-degree angle, and they also have a leg rest as well. And the leg room is for days. In fact, last year when I did one of the long-distance trains, and my colleague that I was traveling with is 6'6". He actually could fully extend his legs out and still have room to spare. That's how much leg room there is. You'll never find that on an airplane. Now, coach seating's great. However, meals and shower access aren't included. And if you're doing a night or more on board the train, you're probably going to want to take a shower. You're probably going to want to eat. So where do we go from there? That's right, we upgrade to the roomettes. And just remember, this is the flash sale. You can upgrade to the roomettes for just $99 per person for any 2018 package. You go from coach to roomettes for literally $99 a person, and you get a private room with beds, which, as you can see during the day, it's 2 big seats that face each other with a big picture window and a fold-out table. At night, those 2 seats you see convert to the lower bunk, and right above where their head is, it pulls down for the top bunk. Meals are included with the roomettes. However, the bathrooms and the showers are located just down the hall, and it's very similar to going to the bathroom in your own house. That's always the best way to put it. As they're down the hall, and they're private but shared. So yes, you would be sharing them with the rest of the people with roomette accommodations in the same car. However, they're private. Once you're in there, you're in there. It's not like anyone else is going to come in there. There's a lock on the door. You come in, you take a shower, and it's a full-size shower too, which is really neat. And the best part is, this is what you upgrade to for just $99 per person. But maybe you might want, Nick, that sounds great, but I really, really want my own private bathroom. We'll say no more. We can upgrade you to the bedrooms. The bedrooms are a little bit bigger than the roomettes, and it's a bit of a different setup. So where the gentleman is sitting is actually more of a sofa-style seating, and where the lady is sitting, there's actually an extra recliner as well. Now, at night, that sofa-style seating converts to the lower bunk, and much like with the roomettes, right above top of where his head is, pulls down for the top bunk. Now, I do want to point out to her right-hand side, it can't be seen on your screen, there is a small private little toilet, sink, and shower in-room. So if you do want your own bathroom in-room, this is the accommodation for you. And there's so much to see and do on board the train. I want you all to focus your attention to the top right. You see the people looking out the window. That, my friends, is the observation car, which is your front row seat to seeing that beautiful scenery the U.S. has to offer. Has floor-to-ceiling windows with a glass dome top, and the seats actually face outwards. This is the spot to be to see all of the amazing scenery that the United States has to offer. I can tell you when I went on my journey last year, other than to eat, sleep, and shower, I did not leave the observation car once because I needed to see the majestic landscapes that the United States has to offer. I highly recommend spending your time in there. You will not be disappointed. And now I've been the moment we've all been waiting for. I know I've been mentioning throughout the whole presentation about dining and getting your meals, but what exactly does this all mean? Well, take what you know about being on an airplane and kind of picture the complete opposite with the food, because the food on Amtrak is amazing. And you'd be amazed at the quality of meals that the onboard chef can freshly prepare in this tiny little kitchen on board the train. I'm talking for breakfast, there's pancakes and waffles, bacon and eggs, big omelets. For lunch, there's juicy cheeseburgers, grilled chicken salads, pasta dishes. For dinner, there's chicken, there's fish, and then there's Amtrak's main dish, as you can see right on your screen, the Amtrak signature steak, which I, for one, had 2 nights in a row and absolutely loved, and I know you all will too. And the whole process is really neat. As soon as you get on board the train, the dining car attendant comes by, sets up reservation times that you want to eat your meals. When it's time to eat, you head down to the dining car, take a seat in one of these big comfortable booths with a beautiful white tablecloth layout. You get to order off a menu with multiple options on there, and you also get to order from a server like you would at any local restaurant. So if you think about it, really, Amtrak isn't just transportation. It's really a hotel on wheels, a restaurant on wheels, and a hotel on wheels and sightseeing on wheels, all rolled up into one amazingly unique experience that you all are going to love. And we've barely scratched the surface of really what we have to offer to all of you. If you pay a visit to our website at amtrakvacations.com, it'll bring you here. From there, you can navigate through and see all of the packages. If you hover over where the red arrow is pointing, you can navigate through and see all of the wonderful destinations and packages that we have to offer to all of you. And once you find the right package in mind, you can give us a call at 1-800-268-7252. One of our reservationists will be more than happy to help set that up for you. You can book through our website at amtrakvacations.com, or once again, what I recommend, give a call or pay a visit to your local travel agent, one of the best travel resources you can have out there. They will be more than happy to help you plan your dream rail vacation. And keep in mind, no matter how you book, the flash sale started today, and it's good till next Friday, November 17th. To take full advantage of it, you just need to book a package for 2018, and you can upgrade from $99 per person from coach to roomettes. Think about it. Private room with beds, meals included, shower access, priority boarding on board the train, and access to the train station private lounges where they are available. And this is the last chance that we will be running this promotion. It's too good to be. You need to take full advantage of this before it's too late, folks. And we offer some really great everyday discounts for you as well. For my AAA members, you will save yourself 10% off the rail portion when you use your AAA card. Children ages 2 to 12 receive a 50% discount off the rail portion of an Amtrak Vacations package. My senior travelers age 62 and over receive a 15% discount off the rail portion of an Amtrak Vacations package. And lastly, active duty military personnel, their spouses, and their dependents receive a 10% discount on the rail portion of an Amtrak Vacations package, just as a thank you for your services. So thank you so much for everything. And keep in mind, too, this promotion, this is our early booking discount, which can be used for select 2018 independent rail journeys. This is good until December 31st. So I know right now you definitely want to take advantage of the flash sale. However, if you do book afterwards, keep in mind that you still have this promotion. So I'll leave this up just for a second so you can see all of the wonderful options we have with that. And once again, two folks, I did check. I saw a couple of people chatting in that the handout is actually not attached to this. My apologies for that. However, if anyone does have any questions at all, now's the time. I will be more than happy to answer any questions that you all may have for me today in regards to the train. Just fit them into where you see the arrow pointing, and I will be more than happy to answer those questions for you. And just some examples of the most popular questions we get. Can you begin the packages in one city and just do a portion of the package? Yes, we can absolutely customize any of these trips to how you want to. So maybe you want to tweak it a bit, maybe you want to start in a specific city and take a part off and maybe start mid-trip, we can do that for you. Are the hotels included in the itineraries? Yes, they absolutely are. We have some really great hotels with all of the properties we work with. We add days in the national parks to these itineraries? Most definitely. I tell you, especially with the Grand Canyon, Glacier Park, Yellowstone, people will usually love adding an extra nights, maybe to have a day to do a hike, maybe do some sightseeing through national park services. Are you permitted to bring your own wine on the train if you enjoy in private? Yes, you sure can. In fact, that's actually another added benefit of having a sleeping accommodation. You're actually allowed to bring your own alcohol on board, whether it be wine, beer, or spirits. It just has to be consumed in the comfort of your own room, and it cannot be in a glass bottle. Lastly, how many sleeping rooms are there on each train? Well, each car of the sleeping accommodations has 14 roomettes in 5 bedrooms. And typically, there's usually 2 to 3 cars of sleepers on board the train. Now that can vary between seasons, but that's pretty standard. But yes, typically it has 5 bedrooms and 14 roomettes per car. And I just want to take the opportunity to thank all of you for joining me today and learning a little bit about what we have going on with Amtrak Vacations and all the different national park packages. And I'm going to answer all these questions because I see tons of them coming in. They look really excellent. However, I do need to name our winner of our Amtrak Vacations gift card. So today's lucky winner for our Amtrak Vacations gift card is going to be, drum roll please, today's lucky winner is going to be Dwayne Johnson. Thank you so much, Dwayne. We really look forward to seeing you on Amtrak soon. And for the rest of you, definitely feel free to fire away those questions. I want to answer I see tons of them piling through, so definitely let me know and I'll be able to answer those. And I have a question here from Cindy. Do the chairs in the roomettes and bedrooms recline at all? Yes, they do. They recline a little bit, and they don't recline at a 45-degree angle like they do in the coach seating, but they do recline a little bit. I have questions. Let's see. Let's see. Just going through, finding some good ones. Yes, I have a question here from Judith asking, could we begin our trip in New Orleans and do the Glacier Park Express? Absolutely. And you could definitely and you could definitely add on the $99 special. That's not a problem at all, Judy. Let's see. Scott is asking, can you book the Altovar in the Grand Canyon? Yes, we can. We work with the Altovar. So if you want to get the Altovar, we can absolutely do that for you. Phil, isn't there a toilet under one of the seats in the roomettes? On the East Coast, there is. Yes, there is a toilet on the East Coast trains, the trains that are only east of Chicago. Let's see. Kim's asking, do the $99 upgrades roomettes apply to Canadian packages? No, not unfortunately. Not the trains on the Canadian rail system, unfortunately. Just Amtrak. Scott's asking, is there seating for 2 in the dining car, or do you have to share a table with others? Unfortunately, they are booths of 4, and Amtrak will put you with random people, which is actually part of the fun time on board it, because I like to meet my fellow riders and converse. So I mean, I remember being on the train and making a point to sit with random people and getting to learn a little bit about why people are riding the train and who's riding. It's just really neat to get to meet your fellow riders, because everyone's riding for a different reasoning. Magda's asking, if you decide to take one of the national park tours and you decide you want to stay longer at a particular spot, can you jump on and off the train? Unfortunately, no, because a lot of the trains are daily trains. So we would want to make sure you're set up with the right proper accommodations. So you would have to know ahead of time, really, of what you want to do. But we can definitely do that, though. That's not a problem. Let's see. Emily's asking, can the promo code and the sleeper upgrade be combined? No, they cannot. It's the only go with the sleeper upgrade for right now. Joanna, hi. Can a trip start from New York City? Most definitely. It's a very popular spot. Magda's asking, also, should you want to book one of these trips, is a deposit required or the full amount? So we do require a deposit, and then if you're utilizing the flash sale, the final payment is February the 2nd. Let's see. So yes, the flash sale, by the way, folks, is only applicable to new reservations. Susan's asking, is the 99? This was actually asked a lot of my first session, a lot. So this is a great question. So thank you. Is the $99 special per segment when you have several different train rides included? The $99 is for the whole trip. So say if you do like a longer trip, like say for instance like the Grand National Parks, it's for literally the whole entire trip. It's not per segment. It's for the whole entire trip. Let's see. Oh, Cindy asked the same question. If it's for $99. Yep, Susan asked it too. Steve, yes, there is a sample menu for the dining on board the train that you just have to go to Amtrak.com. Let's see. These are coming in. You got some great ones. Dana's asking, how is Amtrak travel for wheelchair passengers? So if you're in a wheelchair, Amtrak does have coach space for you. However, they also have the handicap accessible room, which is I feel one of the best accommodations on board the train. The handicap room is magnificent. What it is it's a big enough room where you can have a wheelchair in there. You don't have to get up from it or anything like that. It has a private toilet and sink-in room. And then the shower is literally located just right outside the door. Marinella, can I sit in coach during the day or do I have to stay in my room? You can actually freely move amongst trains. So if you want to go sit in coach, you can absolutely do so. Margaret's asking, how much is the added cost if a person is traveling alone? Honestly, that can vary. We do have a single supplement, though, for most all of our packages. So if you are interested, just feel free to give us a ring, and we'll be able to set that up, take a look into that for you. Fred's asking, did I understand that we may get off the train and spend a few days in a city and then resume the tour on another train? Yes, you could do that. We just need to know ahead of time of what you want to do because we need to set it up so you have the proper accommodations and we can get you onto the train with the right accommodations on board the train as well. Dana, are pets allowed on the trains? No, just service animals, unfortunately. Let's see. Judy, if two couples go, can they sit together in the dining cars? Yes, they can. Susan's asking, is there a snack bar to buy food for coach passengers? Yes, there's a cafe car where they sell lighter snacks and lighter fare like sandwiches and chips and candies and things of the sorts like that. So yes, absolutely. And that's not just for coach passengers, that's for everyone. And coach passengers can also dine in the dining car. It's just they would pay out of pocket. Any more questions? These are great. Ronnie's asking, are alcoholic beverages included with meals on board the train? No. So alcoholic soft drinks are included. However, if you do want to have like a drink with dinner, that would be out of pocket, like a glass of wine or anything like that. Kim, can seniors take advantage of the senior discount and the $99 upgrade? Unfortunately, no. So that you would want to go with the $99 upgrade for the flash sale. Jamie's asking, all these packages, I assume we will not need a rental car when we arrive in each city. Not typically, because we kind of get you into really where the heart of all the action is. So we include a lot of sightseeing that you can utilize instead of the getting a rental car. Let's see. Kenneth, is there medical staff on board if you wind up getting motion sickness? So I can tell you all the car attendants are CPR and first aid trained. If there is, a more elevated situation with medical emergency, Amtrak, the train will stop, at the next station, and you'll be able to get medical attention right straight away. Kathleen, can you use Amtrak points for vacations? Unfortunately, not. We do not work with the Amtrak. We can accumulate the points from our packages, but you can't unfortunately use them. Steve, instead of wheelchairs, can you use motorized carts? Unfortunately, the motorized carts are not. You wouldn't be able to use one of those necessarily. You have to be a wheelchair because it's just the motorized carts are generally a little bit bigger. Susan, can you find out in advance what hotels you'll be staying at in the cities? Yes. Yes, you can. Once again, folks, deposits, yes. All the deposits on your package is literally based on it's based on the cost of your trip, but it's usually a nominal fee, and then final payment is due. If you're utilizing the flash sale, final payment's due February 1st. Alternatively, if you are not utilizing the flash sale, your final payment's due generally 60 days prior to departure date. Sarah's asking, are drinks you pay for done at the time or at the end? Honestly, it could be either or. They can keep it if you do want to buy drinks for like the cafe car or anything like that. They can do a tab for you, but I mean, if you want to pay as you go, you can absolutely do that as well. Susan, are the roomettes equipped with a door? Yes, they have a sliding door on them, most definitely. Marinella, are the transfers between the train station and hotels included when you arrive? Unfortunately, no. Generally, they are a short walk or a quick taxi. We try to keep the hotels within a mile or two from the train station. Judy, if you use the flash sale, may we still use the senior discount? Unfortunately, no. It would have to be just for because the flash sale is such a great deal that we can that you'd want to utilize. You'd want to utilize that. Cindy, is there a deduction for a bedroom in associated with the $99 sale? Unfortunately, no. The bedrooms have there's nothing for the bedrooms with the flash sale, unfortunately. Any more questions? These are some great ones. It's really, really great. So it looks like to me we may be out of questions unless anyone has any last minute ones. So it looks like, yes, looks like we are out of questions for today. So I want to take the opportunity to thank all of you. Oh, there we go, Cindy. That's a great question, Cindy. Thank you for that. How is tipping handled? So tipping, you would pay. So you want, typically I always recommend for the car attendant, like the person that makes your bed up for you and that's always in the car, the dining car or in your car with your sleeper. I typically recommend $5 per person per day. For the server in the dining car, I always recommend like how you would typically tip in a restaurant. So for breakfast, like 15%, lunch 15 to 18, and for dinner 18 to 20%. And if you're utilizing any of the portage service or luggage storage at the stations or the red caps, I always $5 per person, $5 per person per service. Judith, how do you sleep in the roomettes? So they are bunk bed, like bunk styles, upper and lowers. And I can tell you, sleeping in the roomettes is very comfortable. I've done it quite a bit myself, so it's very, very nice. Susan, what kind of accommodations have pull across curtains? Nothing on Amtrak. There's no pull across accommodations on Amtrak. Let me see. What was your question, Lavik? I'll take a look. No, thank you, Michael. Thank you. Oh, on that train, I know what you're talking about. Yes. Susan, they do have the curtain there, but they have also a door as well. There is a curtain inside the room, but there's also a door. Yes, Judith, most definitely. If you are a senior and have difficulty in the bunk, could you get two roomettes? I always recommend that. If you do need the lowers, I always would recommend getting two roomettes across the hall from each other, and those are very easy to talk to each other and still be together, and you also get views on both sides of the train. Exactly. It's a wonderful idea. The rooms are pretty. The hallway's pretty narrow on the train, so you can. So Susan, if you get two roomettes, can you get each for $99? So if you do, it's 99 per person still for each roomette per person for each roomette. So if you had say four people, each room would be 198 because it's 99 198 per room because it's or 199 per room or 198 because it's 99 per person. So yes. Scott, that might be tricky, but it is possible. So it looks like to me I am out of time for today with questions. So I want to just once again thank all the opportunities for and thank everyone for taking the time out of your days to learn a little bit about what we have going on with Amtrak Vacations and with Amtrak. I hope to all see you soon. If anyone has any questions at all, please feel free to call that number on your screen or pay a visit to your local travel agent. We'll be more than happy to help you out. In the meantime, I hope you all take care. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day and have an even better week. And I hope to see you all soon on Amtrak. Thank you, everyone. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.